I have seen things that nightmares are made of. Do you believe in ghosts?
The following footage you are about to see is raw, unscripted footage of a paranormal investigation of an alleged haunted location by the Southern Indiana ghost hunters. Any evidence, if any, that is found within this footage is the interpretation of the Southern Indiana ghost hunters, but may not be the only explainable reason for such evidence. It's up to the viewer to decide. Hello, this is Mike L. Flickner, founder and lead investigator of the Southern Indiana Ghost Hunters. And this is me back in 1978, back when the ideas of my studies of the paranormal were starting to come to shape. However, the origins of Psi runs back to 1974. In a sleepy little town in southern Indiana called New Middletown, and a very curious young boy at the age of 10, that being myself, I was interested in such things such as Bigfoot, Sasquatch, which are the same of course, ghosts, hauntings, and the Bell Witch phenomenon. Back in those days, it was very hard to find like-minded individuals into the same things I was into, and being from a small town with virtually nothing to do but study all the time, my interest climbed as I read more and more books on the subject of the paranormal. However, I was also interested in music, and I studied music during this period of time too, and upwards to decades afterwards, I became an accomplished musician, songwriter. I'd written over 200 compositions, had a 45 record out with my friends from New Middletown, Darren Wood, Philip Lil Pop, and myself. When we weren't practicing music with a band called Mythmaker, we would often go out and visit haunted locations or proposed haunted locations looking for ghosts. Things continued this way for a while, and I still continued to study along with the music scene up until around the year 2000. 26 years later, the first lineup of Psi was born. The first lineup of the group that is now known as Southern Indiana Ghost Hunters included myself, Alexa Chumley, Harold Chumley, Linda Flickner, my daughter Sunshine Coffer, my nephew Danny Bruce, his wife Elizabeth Bruce, and various others. Trying EVP here in the cafeteria. If there is any presence in this room that wishes to make itself be known, please reply by either speaking or moving an object or rapping. Anything at all. On March the 17th of 2006, Sy did his very first investigation of Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Louisville, Kentucky. And I must say, upon arriving at the site and seeing the enormous size of the building, we felt a little bit overwhelmed at first. But we soon became comfortable with the insides of the building, even though we got lost most of the night. And we did find a few things throughout the building, such as a couple of EVPs. The first one that you just previously heard at the beginning of this segment, and the next one that we found in electroshock therapy, which was actually captured on video. Take a listen to it and see what you think. Listen again. We think it says, "Why you here?" After our initial investigation of Waverly Hills, I was approached by one of the owners and asked if I would consider taking on a position up there and kind of helping them out by going through the building and seeing what I think is actually going on inside the building and reporting back to them and giving some tours. At first I was a little reluctant, but then I thought, well, why not? That would give Sy the opportunity to study the building on its own time. And there for a while, this is how that went. And it became progressively more and more of a job. Throughout the years of study in the building, I was able to put the shadow apparitions into categories of 3 different types: shallows, solids, and masses. We also discovered a 4th entity which seemed to roam the halls of Waverly Hills, which we called a hollow. A hollow looked more like heat rising up from a hot asphalt. And we also found a small creature that seemed to run about the building, which we called the Creeper. Not long after that, the doppelgangers came about when people said that they were seeing me inside of the building when I wasn't even present on the property at the time. I also became consultant for most of the popular television shows of the paranormal which came up to Waverly Hills, such as Ghost Hunters, Ghost Hunters Academy, Most Haunted, Ghost Adventures, and various more. I also made a cameo appearance in Most Haunted and was featured in Paranormal Challenge and Ghost Adventures. Through many years of research inside of this magnificent building called Waverly Hills Sanatorium, it also introduced me into the 3rd edition of Sy and the present edition of Sy, Barb Wyatt, Debbie Jansen, Amber Royalty, and Gabe Wyatt. Throughout the years, many people have caught amazing amounts of astonishing evidence which came out of Waverly Hills, such as this picture here. This picture is a picture of me on the 5th floor as I was leaving a group of people one night. At first, it just looks like an ordinary picture, and that's a ball right next to my foot. But if you look down towards the bottom of my legs, there appears to be what seems to be a small girl reaching up toward me. Here is the same picture inverted. Can you see her? Waverly Hills is a very haunted and very unique building, and I highly recommend that any investigator spend some time up at the hill. I know that I've been blessed for all the years of study I was able to do while at this magnificent building. Each member of Sy has their own special traits that they bring to the team. Barb is the case manager of Sy, plus investigator. Debbie Jansen is the team sensitive. Amber Royalty does a lot of our taking of pictures while on the investigations. Gabe Wyatt is our techie, especially with the thermal imager. Barb has also appeared on Destination America's Ghost Brothers, and a lot of Psy evidence has been presented in the Ghost Brothers show and Ghost Adventures at Thornhaven Manor. The activities of Psy have been captured in many books on the paranormal, and Psy even has two of its own books by Arthur C.C. Thomas entitled The Southern Indiana Ghost Hunter Chronicles, Volumes 1 and 2. Psy also has its own production company called Ghost Town Pictures, which records the investigations of Psy's activities in the Southern Indiana Ghost Hunter Chronicles. The following footage you are about to see is just but a small bit of evidence that we've captured throughout the years of doing what we do.
And I'm getting an anomaly detected on your left.
Did it turn green or something?
It's popped up twice and then went right away.
Was it a stick figure? Or?
No, it just came up, said detected. Got a stick figure on the wall. It's not moving. It's way up high on the wall.
Way up high on the wall?
Oh, we got some. I got a stick figure on the wall. It's not moving. It's way up high on the wall.
Way up high on the wall?
No, it just disappeared.
When I turned around and looked at it. What's going on in here? You tried to whisper to me earlier. I'm listening.
Could you please come out and show yourself? We know you're here. Mike's seen you and heard you, and I felt you. We know you're right in here with us. There's no need to hide.
Anybody? Did you hear that?
What the hell was it?
I'd like to state that we're here in Knox and just heard a whisper. It sounded like it said, "Oh my God."
I got a stick figure again, but it disappeared just as soon as
Where was it at?
right here in front of the closet.
Hello? Was you just in here with us?
Could you please step back out in front of this camera? It won't hurt you. You don't have anything that'll bother you. I've got it again.
Thornhaven Manor has always yielded us quite a bit of evidence throughout the years, but some of the most compelling evidence is in our thermals that we've captured there. Like, check this one out. On one of the first trips to Thornhaven, Amber Royalty is in the picture. She's in a foyer, and you'll notice that we captured something coming through the glass behind her. In this first picture, you can see as it's just starting to come through, and it'll eventually work its way up to where it's completely inside and directly behind her. While Cy was downstairs reviewing some of the video coverage that we were capturing on our DVR system, we noticed that upstairs in the servants' quarters seemed to have captured what we thought might have been a full-body apparition walking across the screen. You'll notice the video starts out that you'll see what appears to be a small orb of light come through the doorway, and it goes up in the air slightly, then hits the floor. As soon as it hits the floor, there seems to be an apparition walking across at this time. As with any investigation, Psy sometimes will take their EVP recorders and leave them at remote places and let them play through the entire investigation. Even when nobody's in the building, you'll hear a lot of loud knocks, background noise, and a few voices speaking when there was nobody in the building. Take a listen. Did you hear the loud knocking? The knocking came in sets of 3, and right before the knocking was what we thought we heard was voices. Take a listen to the first and see what you think it says. Then afterwards we'll tell you what we thought it said. Listen again. And again. We think it's a girl's voice saying, "Come home with me." The second voice we captured on this EVP seems to be that of a man. Take a listen. Listen again. And again. We believe that he is saying, "We'll make fire." Sometimes EVPs are hard to understand, and sometimes what may seem to not be anything at all could very well be an EVP. Therefore, sometimes we may have to stretch out the EVP, stretch the time so that you can hear exactly what it's saying, because sometimes EVPs come across being very, very fast, and sometimes they come across garbled. Sometimes you can flip EVPs, flip the sound and play them backwards to make sense of what they're saying, such as in the case of this next one you're about to hear. On June the 27th, 2015, Psy decided to do another investigation of Thornhaven Manor. This investigation was going to require staying the entire night. Not all of us stayed the entire night, but Barb Wyatt, Gabe Wyatt, and Amber Royalty decided to stay the entire night in the upstairs slaves' quarters. You'll hear in this EVP, you'll hear them talking amongst themselves as they're getting ready to bed down, and you'll hear a voice at the end of it that seems garbled. This is the original before it was flipped.
It'd be really cool if you'd sing us to sleep.
That would be sweet.
Yeah.
You're probably pretty down.
I got you.
Listen again.
I got you.
And again.
I got you.
Here's that same EVP flipped in reverse.
It'd be really cool if you'd sing us to sleep.
That would be sweet.
You're probably pretty down.
Listen again. And again. We think it says, "I hate you." Did you notice that right after Barb said, "That would be sweet," there was a voice that said, "Yeah"? Take a listen to it.
That would be sweet.
Listen again.
That would be sweet.
And again.
That would be sweet.